All right, so we are going to go over stage 27 vocabulary today. So first we're going to start with ardeo. It's an adverb meaning so much or so greatly. And this is going to be one of the indicator words for result clauses. So we're going to want to learn this one in connection with the result clause, which we'll go over more in class. Adventus, adventus. It's a fourth declension masculine noun, meaning arrival. We get the English word advent from it. It also comes from the Latin word advenio, to come to something. You can see the connection with ad, ad, and went, the fourth principle, ventus, the fourth principal part of venio. Antea should be a pretty easy one. It's an adverb meaning before, and it happens to be the antonym of post, which means after. Antea, post, before and after. Appareo, apparere, apparui is a second conjugation verb meaning to appear. So an apparition is something that has appeared, like a ghost. Ooh, spooky. Ardeo, ardere, arsi is a second conjugation verb meaning to burn or to be on fire. It's a synonym with incendo. We get the English word ardent from it. You can also see the stem of arson in the third principal part right here. Cartamen, cartamenis is an easy one. We talk about it all the time. It's Latin trivia basically, but and when we talk about it, but it is essentially a contest, a struggle, a fight. It's a third declension neuter noun. Comes, comitus is a third declension masculine or feminine noun. It depends on what group you're talking about, and it's a comrade or a companion. We get the English word count from it. It comes to us through the French, where the M changes in there, but that's what the British term of a count comes from this. Not like count as in 1, 2, 3, but a count as in, the count of England or wherever counts may be. Decet is another one of those interesting impersonal words. Remember, operet. It is proper is the correct translation of it. We translate stuff like this like I ought to do something. And decent comes from that in English. Fox, facus is not a fax. It's a third declension feminine noun meaning torch. Something that burns, that you burn to light the way. Gaudeo, gaudere is a second conjugation verb to be pleased or to rejoice. I looked it up. The third principal part of this verb is an archaic form, so that's why we don't see it anymore. Ignarus it's a type 212 adjective. And it's not knowing, to be unaware, to be ignorant. Imperio, imperare, imperavi is a first conjugation verb. It's a plus dative, so remember that it's a plus dative, and it's to order or to command. It's related to the Latin idea of imperium, the right to rule a province with an army. And imperative comes from this. Incendo, incendere, incendi, incensus is a third conjugation verb meaning to burn or to set on fire. And remember, it's synonymous with ardeo. Incendiary comes from this verb. Insidiae, insidiarum sounds actually really close to a movie that came out recently. Insidious, exactly, because this means a trap or an ambush. It's first declension feminine noun. It always comes in the plural. All right, it can have singular forms, but we often see it in the plural. Locus or yocus, yoki, that is an I at the beginning, is a joke. It's a second declension masculine noun. Jocus comes from this. Remember, I's that start the beginning of words typically translate into English through J's. So you can see how it almost goes perfectly one-to-one. I to J, O, C and K have that very similar sound. And then the E and the US are the only thing that are really different, but it's really similar. Usum, you see, this should be an easy one to guess. If you thought it had something to do with order, you are correct. It's a second declension neuter noun, meaning an order, a command. It's related to eubeo. The jussive comes from this. That's a use of the subjunctive we haven't quite gotten to yet, but it's the subjunctive, another way to make commands in the subjunctive. Manos, manos. You've seen this before as hand, and we've seen it a couple times as this other definition, but now we're finally getting the official introduction of it in our book. And it's a fourth declension feminine noun, meaning a hand or a band of soldiers. Nokeo, nokere, nokui. It's a second conjugation verb. It's also a plus dative, so important to note. It means to hurt. So we get noxious and innocuous from this. Okoro, okorere, okurui. It's a third conjugation verb. It's a plus dative. And it means to meet. So an occurrence is someone who's meeting with someone. Osculum, osculi, is something Modestus loves to get from the ladies. It means a kiss. It's a second declension neuter noun, and to osculate comes from it. Praekeps, praekepitus. It's third adjective, so a type 3 adjective. Note all the nominative forms are going to be the same. So this is praekeps, 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 and then this is where the stem is, praekeptus. It means headlong. We get the word precipice from it. Premium, primii, another neuter noun. This is a second declension neuter noun. It means prize or reward. Proximus aum is another pretty easy one to guess. It's a 2-1-2 adjective, the nearest. So we get proximity from it. Qualis, qualis, quale is a third adjective, type 3 adjective, means what sort of man, what sort of woman. So qualified, to qualify something, to explain what sort of thing something is, it comes from it. Silentium, e, should be an easy one to pick up. It's another one of our neuter nouns. It's a second declension neuter noun. It means silence. And guess what the derivative is? Silence. Awesome. A lot less for you guys to memorize. Sub, we've seen this one before, but we haven't seen it with both uses. So it's a preposition, and it can be either plus ablative, which we've seen, or plus accusative. It means under or beneath something, so we get subterranean, subway, as in, or submarine. All those words come from this. In the ablative, down here, it shows... is used to show where something is already under. The accusative shows where someone is going under. So if you're saying sub horeum, it means that that person is currently going under the grain house, where if you just say sub horeo, they're already there. Tacitus aum is a 2-1-2 adjective. It means silent. It's related to takeo. Tadet is another impersonal verb. Think of operet. And it is tiring. So me tadet.
Tyler Lewis, come to the main office
bored.
immediately. Tyler Lewis to the main office immediately.
Thanks for interrupting me. I'm already at the end. I'm not redoing this all. Me tadet is I am bored or I am tired. And we get tedious from this. Tantos aum is another 2-1-2 adjective. So great or such a great blank. It's another indicator word for the result clause, and we get the English word tantamount from it. And that's it for stage 27 vocab. So make sure you make those flashcards, and I'll see you in class.